Good morning, 7th graders. I've had several requests to do the study guide with you guys, so I'll go ahead and do that so we can get ready for the test next week for Chapter 11. So here's the Chapter 11 study guide like we would do in class, and I have several things going on here, so you just be patient, okay? If I go too fast, this is YouTube. You can stop and go back, okay? All right, first one. Before 1400, many societies considered slave ownership to be normal. They considered it to be normal. It was just part of life. Before 1400, this is number 2. Before 1400, people were enslaved within their own culture. Okay. Sorry, I just had breakfast. They were enslaved within their own culture. Okay. After 1400, slavery was based on race. Mostly, if you were black and you were from Africa, you were eligible to be a slave. Okay, number 4, the slave coast was located along the coast of West Africa. West Africa. Okay, the trip across the Atlantic Ocean that was the slave trade was called the Middle Passage. Middle Passage. Number 6. Excuse me, it's allergy season, and I definitely know it. Number 6. Many indentured servants died of disease. Okay. They died of disease. What killed many Native Americans? Number 7. What killed many Native Americans? European diseases. European diseases. And with this coronavirus, you can see how rapidly disease can spread. Problem is, none of us have immunity to this. This is a brand new virus. So we are going through what the Native Americans went through when Europeans arrived. They had no immunity to the European diseases. So you're experiencing that firsthand. I wish you weren't, but you are. Okay, number 8. Why were Native Americans not a good solution to the South's labor problem? And the answer is they knew the land and could escape. They were Indians. This was their country. So they could escape. Number 9. By the late 1700s, which colonial region had the most slaves? And the answer is the South. The South is where they had the plantations, if you recall, and that's where the slaves were. Okay, number 10. Which groups were used to solve the slave problem in the southern colonies? And the answer was Africans. Africans. Okay. Africans, actually there were 3 groups that were used, because this is one of those not questions. Excuse me. So the 3 groups that were used or attempted in the southern colonies were Africans, Native Americans, and indentured servants. So number 10, the answer is Africans, Native Americans, and indentured servants. Okay? Number 11. The environment of the South allowed Southerners to grow cash crops. They could grow cash crops. Okay. Now there's number 11 on the study guide. What was an effect of primogeniture? And the answer is a greater need for slave labor. A greater need for slave labor. You needed more slaves because slavery was spreading. So that's number 11 on the test. Number 12, which invention affected slave labor? And the answer is the cotton gin. The cotton gin. Because it removed cotton seeds quickly. Okay, that's number 13. What did the cotton gin do? It removed cotton seeds quickly. Okay. All right, number 14. So 13 was, or 12, I should say, on your sheet was cotton gin. 13 was it removed cotton seeds quickly. Okay, number 14. When slaves were sold within the same country, it was called the domestic slave trade. Domestic slave trading. Okay, domestic slave trading. Who was Frederick Douglass and what did he do? Okay, he became an important abolitionist leader. He was an important abolitionist leader. Okay, number 16. Define abolitionist. Excuse me again. An abolitionist who believed that slavery should be eliminated immediately. The key word is immediately. Okay. An abolitionist, number 16, an abolitionist believed that slavery should be eliminated immediately. Okay. Okay, number 17. Who was Nat Turner? Having a tough time with allergies. Who was Nat Turner and what did he do? Nat Turner led a slave rebellion in 1831. Make sure you know the date. Nat Turner led a slave rebellion in 1831. Okay, number 18. Who was Harriet Tubman and what did she do? Harriet Tubman was a conductor in the Underground Railroad. Harriet Tubman was a former slave and she was a conductor in the Underground Railroad. What did Harriet Beecher Stowe do? And she wrote the book Uncle Tom's Cabin. Uncle Tom's Cabin. And that book changed a lot of people's minds about slavery because it showed people how bad slavery could be. Who was Dred Scott? Dred Scott sued for his freedom, and it made it to the Supreme Court. Excuse me. Dred Scott sued for his freedom, and it made it to the Supreme Court, and they had a terrible ruling. It basically opened up slavery to all of the Western territories. But the key to you understanding, number 20, Dred Scott sued for his freedom. Okay, that's the answer. 21. Why did white settlers move to lands owned by Native Americans? Okay, and the answer was for good farmland. For good farmland. Okay, number 22. When too many settlers moved onto Native American land, the U.S. government bought the land and made a new peace treaty. They basically told the Indians, sorry, we need your land, so here's what we're going to give you, and sign this. So the answer is they bought the land and made a new treaty. Okay, 23. Reservations. That's the answer. Reservations were lands set aside for Native American tribes. 24. How did many Mexican American farmers lose their land? And the answer is they did not have deeds to their land, which was official paperwork. The Mexican and Spanish government had given them the land, but never given them the paperwork to prove that they owned the land. Everybody just knew they owned the land. So they did not have deeds for their land. Okay, what tribe was forced westward? Number 26. Obviously the Cherokee. Remember, on the Trail of Tears. Okay. Name one abolitionist and what they did to help end slavery. Well, I would say Harriet Beecher Stowe. She wrote the book Uncle Tom's Cabin. That's a good answer. All right. Who wrote 12 Years a Slave? The answer is Solomon Northup. Okay, Solomon Northup. And number 29, who is Eli Whitney? He's the man who invented the cotton gin. Okay. And one other question that's not on the review sheet is, well, actually, define primogeniture. That's number 30. That is when the father gave all of the plantation to his oldest son. So the younger sons had to leave and buy their own plantations. That's why slavery spread. So primogeniture was when the father gave his plantation to the oldest son when he died. Okay. And then lastly, there's another question on the test that you need to know. What happened when Mexican Americans didn't pay their taxes, their real estate or real property taxes? And the answer is the government seized their land. The government seized their land. Well, sorry, I've been sniffling and all that sort of stuff. I just had breakfast and it's allergy season. So good luck. If I went kind of fast, like I said, this is YouTube. You should be able to go back. All right. Talk to you later. Bye.